City College is pleased to welcome all of our special guests, today's graduates and their families, and our alumni. Ken Sunshine, trustee of the City University of New York, will now bring greetings. Trustee Sunshine.
Good morning, good afternoon. On behalf of the Cuny Board of Trustees, congratulations to all the graduates, families and friends, and special congratulations to Edward Plotkin and the great John Lewis. And I want to make a special note of one of my heroes, one of the greatest members of Congress ever from this district, who blesses City College with his ongoing presence, the great Charlie Rangel. Graduates, we know how hard you've labored to achieve this milestone. Many of you have worked 1, 2, sometimes 3 jobs to support yourselves while embracing the rigorous standards that a City College degree requires. Many of you are parents, many older than typical college students. Many grew up in families where English was not spoken. Give yourselves a big round of applause. And you have succeeded in the greatest city in the world, where the stakes are always bigger. Yes, we're louder, right, Chuck? More expensive, often immodest, but we're also smarter, work harder, overcome crowds, blaring horns, haphazard bike lanes, subways that are best a challenge. But you know what? It's worth it. You've succeeded on Broadway and everywhere else is summer stock. Spoken like an arrogant New Yorker, guilty as charged. We are the best. We also embrace the values that make us the center of the universe. We welcome diversity, love our neighbor no matter what their background or lifestyle, and we will never, ever stop defending new immigrants from settling in New York. Settling in New York just the way Chuck and my grandparents did several generations ago. So many of you were born elsewhere. Almost all of New Yorkers have one word to all of you: welcome. And a very special tribute to our DACA students. We will always welcome you here. Graduates, use your degree to make this crazy world better. Now the thrill of your big day is enhanced even more by the presence of a true giant in all of American history. John Lewis came within an inch of his life to shame Americans, to treat all Americans as equals, and to exercise their most basic right to vote. Now, so many years later, that basic right is being threatened in so many ways, and yet again we look to John Lewis to inspire and lead us against the forces of bigotry and racism. I can only imagine his frustration, yet often have heard his optimism at all the progress that has been achieved since those dark days at the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. Graduates, never take the precious right to vote for granted. Shame on anyone who does not vote, finds excuses, or cynically says their vote does not matter. The outcome of many elections has rested on turnout, and the thrill you should all feel at the presence of a titan of history. Please, please, no matter where you're from, pledge that you and everyone you know will never fail to fulfill the most basic of your rights as an American, the right to vote. Much congratulations to all.
President Boudreau, we are gathered for the 173rd commencement exercises of the City College of New York. With your permission, Dr. Boudreau, the ceremony will begin.
Let the commencement exercises begin.
All please rise. as the color guard of the City University Army ROTC program presents the national colors, as the national anthem is sung by Jamili Stevie Aires, graduating this year in the inaugural class of our Master of Music program. She will be accompanied by Antonio Chacca, Master of Music, also class of 2019.
Twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they give proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And the home of the brave.
Please be seated. Once again, City College is pleased to welcome everyone, all of our special guests, today's graduates, their families, and our alumni. And now the Honorable Charles E. Schumer, Senior Senator of the State of New York, will bring his greetings to the 2019 graduating class.
To the class of 2019, City College, congratulations. You've made it. Now, it's great to be here. I want to thank President Boudreau and the whole staff, faculty, staff, all the way down to the people who keep the place clean late at night for making this one of the best institutions of higher learning, not just in New York, but in America. I want to salute my dean, Charlie Rangel, and we have a national hero here who we can all look up to in these difficult times to fight the fight, John Lewis. Now, first I'd like to announce my class gift. I have a gift for you. Yeah. You know, it's hard. It's hard to pay for college, you know that. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. But what about the middle class, the working class? And so, I wrote a law a few years ago that says you or your parents, whoever paid for college, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes for every year of college, provided, in Washington there's always a provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, for those of you who come from families who make below $200,000, make sure you or mom or dad, whoever paid for college, takes that credit, because it's relatively new. Last year, about a quarter of all people who are entitled didn't take it, and if you forgot, you can fill out a simple form with the IRS and get a check in the mail for up to $7,500 back. Not a bad class gift. Now, what happens if you come from a family who makes above $200,000 a year? God bless you. And let me just say, we're working on legislation that will finally deal with the burden you will have when you leave college. We're going to pass a law, I'm fighting hard for it, that says no one should pay more than a small percentage of their annual income back to repay their student loans. It's long past time our government tackled the student debt crisis once and for all. To the moms and dads, I know how you feel. A few short years ago, my wife Iris and I sat where you did, watched our daughter Allison come up on stage, get the diploma. It was one of the greatest days of our lives. And you know, it's not easy these days being a parent. But today you see that all the blood, sweat, and tears, all the hard work, all the dedication pays off as your sons and daughters become an adult before your very eyes. Congratulations to the moms and dads. And finally, a word of thanks. We have many, many young people your age, many from New York, many here from Manhattan, who are in our armed forces. They're doing difficult jobs in very difficult places like Iraq and Afghanistan, and they're risking their lives for us. Let's have a round of applause for them. Okay. Now, to this great class of 2019, so all those late nights in the library or early mornings in the classroom have gotten you a degree from this great institution. It's good you have it, because the world in which you're graduating is moving so very fast. This is an era of profound economic and social change. In the old days, when you graduated from college, the odds were very high you'd be in the same profession for 40 years and probably in the same job. That's not so true anymore. Most of you will have several jobs, many of you several careers. And along with these economic changes, the internet has put so much information at our fingertips, it's sometimes hard to figure out what's important and to distinguish between what's true and what isn't. And you know, a generation ago, things like terrorist attacks, mass shootings were rare. Now we hear about them every month. So there's a lot going on. The good news is this: your generation is better equipped than any other that came before it to adapt to these changes, overcome the obstacles they present, and seize the opportunities they afford. Right now, though, sitting in your seats, you may not be sure of what's going to come next. With so much of the world changing around you, it may feel like you're jumping into an abyss. But the key, graduates, is don't fear the unknown. Embrace it, relish it, soak up every possibility it has to offer. How do I know? I had these feelings when I was college age. I went to James Madison High School in Brooklyn, New York, which is a working class high school, but from there I was lucky enough to get into Harvard. In those days, no one from my background went to Harvard. It was all filled with these people from the fancy prep schools of New England. And I was the son of an exterminator who never went to college, and I went to public schools in Brooklyn. And that was before Brooklyn was cool. So, I was scared. What was I going to do at this fancy place? I went to the one guy from my high school who had graduated from Harvard before me, Red. And I said, Red, how am I going to make it here? Now, we had both been on the basketball team. So he says to me, Chuck, try out for the freshman basketball team. They're terrible, just like Madison's team was terrible. So you'll make it, and those will be your friends. That's who you'll hang out with. he did have a point. You know what our motto was on the Madison High School basketball team? We may be small, but we're slow. Well, now let's go to tryouts. They gave us these little numbers to wear. Number 27, the coach says, yes, sir, you're Schumer. Yes, sir. Oh, you played for Madison. Yes, sir. How's Coach so-and-so? He's fine, sir. Then he looks quizzically at me. He says, you played forward? I said, yes, sir. He said, how tall are you? I said, oh, I'm 6'1", sir. He said, can you dribble? I said, that's not my strong suit, sir. He said, go home. He didn't watch me touch a ball. I was distraught. I wrote a note to my mom. I said, it's only a week into school, I'm a flop already, I'm coming home. And I started packing up my bags. But as fate would have it, as I was packing up late that night, somebody knocked on my door. Who could it be? Was it my parents coming to take me home? No. Was it the basketball coach giving me a second chance? No way. Was it the cool kid down the hall inviting me to the big party I wanted to go to? No such luck. I was nervous. I slowly opened the door, and standing in front of me was a young fellow who said, I'm from the Harvard Young Democrats. We're working for a man named Eugene McCarthy. He's running in the New Hampshire primary because he's for ending the war in Vietnam. Well, I didn't have a political bone in my body. My dad was a Republican, my mom a Democrat, but I'd lost some friends in the Vietnam War, and I was worried about the country. So I said something that changed the course of my life forever when he asked me to join up. I shrugged my shoulders and I said, okay. The next morning, I got on a bus with a group of kids from New Hampshire. We went up there, and it was great. It was like sports, teamwork. We divided up neighborhoods and knocked on doors. We wrote our own leaflets. And over the next few months on the snowy streets of New Hampshire, working for an insurgent presidential campaign, I was bitten by the political bug. McCarthy didn't win the primary, but he came so close that Lyndon Johnson stepped down after just one term in office. I said to myself, wow, a ragtag group of students and other assorted nobodies changed the course of history and toppled the most powerful man in the world. And I say to you graduates, by the way, you can do the same thing today. Keep at it. So I said to myself when that happened, what a system. I realized how much I love politics, how deeply I cared about its impact on people, and I was inspired to dedicate myself to making America a better place. Now, I don't know what led that Harvard Young Democrat to knock on my door late that night. Maybe it was luck. I'd like to think it was God's hand. But I took a leap. I said, okay, to something completely new, completely different, and it enriched my life forever. So graduates, on this day of your great achievement, my advice to you is take the risk. Follow your passion. For those of us who've gotten older, sometimes the more painful moments are the what-ifs. What if I had only done this? What if I had only gone there? In life, there are always going to be moments that present new opportunities to you and change the course of things forever. They won't be advertised as such. No one's going to label them for you when they appear. And sometimes they're as unassuming as a late-night knock on the door. You just need to keep your eyes open to them. So my message to this great class of 2019 is very simple. Go for it. You're about to cast off into the unknown, and I know it can seem really scary. But you've got great assets, a wonderful education here at City College, families who will always have your back through thick and thin. So, garner up your courage, garner up your strength, put aside your doubts, take a chance, and if you do, it is my hope, it is my prayer, and indeed it's my confidence that you will find true success and true joy in life. To this great class of 2019, congratulations! Good luck! Godspeed, and don't forget, go for it!
Thank you, Senator Schumer. And now Trustee Harris Kahn, student member of the City University Board of Trustees, chair of the University Student Senate, and former president of the Undergraduate Student Government, will bring his greetings. Trustee Kahn.
Good morning, CCNY. President Boudreau, distinguished faculty, Congressmember Rangel, and Congressmember Lewis, Senator Schumer, who came with a new speech today, families and friends, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2019, congratulations. There have been many obstacles and challenges in all of our paths to this day. For me, right before transferring to CCNY, I lost my father to cancer, brain tumor, the main breadwinner of our house. And I was about to drop out of college. But it was my mother, me, my brother, and my sister that kept life moving for us, no matter how long the days felt, no matter how dark the nights were. Thank you, Ami, and thank you to my family for everything they've done. Today, the degree is all because of them. Thank you. But it's not just my family, so I'm going to ask something. Usually in graduations, they ask you to look around each other. I'll do something different. Can everybody please, I'm sorry, stand up, look behind you, and look at the families. Every single one of them sacrificed so much. They deserve the biggest round of applause today. Thank you. Graduates, 1/3 of Americans have a college education, and only 10% of the globe has one too. Let's acknowledge our privilege. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once said, "Say what is true." Prophet Muhammad once said, "Say what is true, although it may be bitter and displeasing to people." The times are difficult and turbulent, and loud, disingenuous populists are using nationalist rhetoric, resembling fascists, complicit in extremist violence. They are explicit. The Rohingyans, the Palestinians, Syrians, and Yemenis disappeared or repressed, sometimes stateless or landless, in foreign lands surviving and asking for a chance. Christians and Jews and Muslims attacked for their faith. Anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hateful intolerance is on the rise. Immigration is a fright, refugees are a threat, families are separated, Muslim bans are enacted, women's bodies are controlled and questioned. The world that we are inheriting is full of challenges. But graduates, I ask all of us to engage in our communities, speak up for those who cannot, serve our city, our country, our world, and our fellow human beings with pride, integrity, and respect. Pursue your passions with courage, confidence, and compassion. We are the generation that will fix the course, and we are the graduates that will change the world. Class of 2019! We are just getting started. Thank you. We're just getting started.
Thank you, Trustee Khan. And here to welcome you and present his charge to the students is President of the City College of New York, Dr. Vince Boudreau.
I have, from love and from vocation, become a historian of this institution, and I know that most of you, at least in the front of this assembly, have heard me speak of it. The dream of providing education to the whole people, and the way that connects to our extraordinary current achievements in the realm of social mobility, of the basic and essential commitment that the very existence of City College, as it was first imagined and subsequently developed, has made to the preservation of our democracy. But I want to talk to you today about a different history. You graduates today, you can't know, you can't possibly have the perspective to fully understand how this brief moment in your lives intersects with 173 years of history in this college. Commencement is it's a ritual. It's a moment in time when you are poised between being a student and becoming a graduate. and in a little while, I'll pick up that hammer and I'll strike the gavel, and you'll be changed forever. You'll no longer be a City College student unless you come back and enroll again. You'll be graduates and alumni. And so at this threshold, I want to ask you to take a moment and think about the legacy of the people that have come before you here. For 172 years, young men, eventually young women, stood where you now stand on the threshold of something new. They were neither smarter nor better prepared than you are now. The odds they faced were no worse than the odds that most of you have already overcome just to be here. Like you, they came to City College uncertain of their future. They came into this institution, most of them, as individuals. Despite free tuition in those early days, many of them had trouble pulling together the meager resources to buy books. I spoke with a graduate of 1949's class yesterday who was complaining that in his last year, he had to pay a $2 student fee. He was complaining very gently. But all of these people for 172 years left their mark. They left their mark on this college, and they left their mark on the world. They built aqueducts and bridges. They designed the Panama Canal and carved Mount Rushmore. They laid the foundations of the space program and the internet. They changed how we would communicate. They built corporations. They invented technology that revolutionized the way we think about information. They advised presidents. They sat on the Supreme Court and shaped the laws that would govern this country. They led nations. They changed the world. But essentially and vitally, they did all this from beginnings that were no different in any significant respect than your beginnings. They were immigrants. They were the sons and daughters of working people. They belonged to religions and ethnic groups that at the time meant that they were denied the full opportunity to enjoy the benefits and the treasures and the opportunities of this country. They were, some of them, not citizens and often could not produce the documents that put them on a road to citizenship. They always were, from the very beginning, people who had been somehow discounted. When learned men of the times talked about who deserved an education, the people that came through City College had been put on the side. They had been overlooked. These same people imagined that we as a people could prosper without the talents of the whole people, without their energies and their dreams and their experiences. And they were obviously and profoundly mistaken. Generation after generation of City College students have proven them wrong, not just by the act of graduating, not just by arriving to the place where you are today, but by going out into the world after making this transition into alumni and succeeding in the wildest ways possible. In fact, it is that combination of a discounted beginning, of the long odds that our graduates have faced for 173 years, and their astounding accomplishments, that year after year, they give the lie to anyone who discounts the human potential of the home people. That has been the mark of City College since 1847. Person by person, we have served to caution the leaders of our economy and our society and our government against discounting the talents and the imaginations and the enthusiasm of the whole people. And now I'd like for you, just for a second, to close your eyes. I'd like you to call forth the memory of these people for 170 years coming to this place, for 170 years reflecting on the uncertainty they brought with them on that first day. For 170 years, gathering together and emerging from the gates of this college, not as an individual, but as a social phenomenon. My friends, you are today a social phenomenon. You will leave this college, and together as a group, you will demonstrate to anyone who is still so foolish not to see your potential that you will not be denied. And now I'd like to speak to the families and the parents in the back of this assembly. Yeah. I have been on this campus for 28 years. I've met hundreds of people like you. I know that 4 years ago, or 6 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, you delivered your sons and your daughters to us. And some of you maybe are new to the United States. Maybe your children speak English better than you do. Maybe they understand American society better than you do. For many of you, sending a child to college meant you were sending the first member of your family to college. And I know, I understand that there was some uncertainty in that act. That yes, you wanted them to be educated. Yes, you wanted them to be successful. But you were also sending them away from a family, from an environment where you controlled the values and the culture and the faith and the belief system. And you were sending them to this institution that was maybe distant physically, culturally, socially, politically, economically. And what I want to say to you is that I and my good colleagues, the faculty, the fellow students here, we have endeavored every day to take such good care of your children, to make sure that they are returned to you, not foreign, not distant, but better, stronger, strengthened in your values, willing to carry forth your vision, confident in their ability to carry on your family legacy so that your grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren will grow up in the faith that they deserve a college education and they share the American dream and that their talents will not be discounted. My beloved class of 2019, be that social phenomenon, be City College graduates, go out and change the world. We are so proud of you. Congratulations to you all.
The Valedictory Address will now be given by Elizabeth Yim, Valedictorian of the class of 2019.
Hello. Wait, 1 second. All right, that's much better. Good morning, President Boudreau, Provost Liss, Congressman Lewis, Mr. Plotkin, faculty and staff, honored guests, friends and family, and a special welcome to the class of 2019! Graduates, we are here today not only because of the last 4 or 5 or more years that we spent here at City, but because of a lifetime of hard work and an unfaltering determination to succeed. We have pulled all-nighters, pounded countless Red Bulls, and stressed over exams. But we made it, and we made it together. Congratulations. Look around you. We are the color and fabric of the true, diverse America. Yeah. And what is diversity? Often, this is a word that gets thrown around, a quota of people who look a certain way or come from a certain background. But what does diversity truly mean? Malcolm Forbes, publisher of the Forbes magazine, defines diversity as the art of thinking independently together. As a Chinese American, I felt like I really fit in the schools that I attended growing up, ones that were mostly filled with Asian Americans. But the closest that we got to diversity seemed to be, what part of China is your family from? So if diversity is the art of thinking independently together, that independence must come from a difference of thought. And it was only here at City College that I've been truly exposed to diversity, and as a result, have different and better values than I did 4 years ago. Allow me to explain. I'm sure all of us are familiar with the Asian stereotype, and the fact that I am standing up here looking the way I do, I'm sure I'm not doing much to dispel these stereotypes. They say Asians are short, that we look like we're 12, and we're good at math. So check, check, and check. So, okay, I get it. While I don't condone the use of stereotypes, I understand that they must come from somewhere. And parts of my life felt like they really fit into the stereotype at times. When I brought home 95s and 96s on my exams, my dad asked me, who'd you give those extra points to? And I felt like only half of him was kidding. Like many of my classmates, I took as many AP classes as my schedule could fit. I got straight A's and great SAT scores. But I'm sure all of us know by now, there are so many bigger lessons to learn in school than how to get straight A's. And those are lessons that I learned right here at City College. Because here at City College, for the first time in my life, someone congratulated me for not getting an A in a class. Thank you. Because according to the professor who said it, perfection is boring. And here at City College, I have learned as much from the students to my left and to my right as from the professor in the front of the room. From meeting students with a diversity of experience, people from almost every single continent, people who are the first in their families to attend and graduate from college, first-generation Americans and immigrants, mothers and fathers returning to finish their higher education, full-time students, and full-time workers, I have learned more than I could ever learn from any textbook. From this diversity of thought and experience that I was exposed to, I learned about a diversity of issues that I didn't really know about before. Last year, after what I thought to be a particularly good lecture, one of my classmates pointed out to me that in a PowerPoint with slides of pictures of doctors, few of the faces were female. And not one of those faces was brown or black. And this shocked me, not only because of the lack of diversity and representation, but also because I had failed to notice it until it was pointed out to me. We all know the impact of seeing people in power and leadership who look like us. And I realized then that I had to become a more vigilant advocate for issues, even if they do not directly impact me. This one experience was just the tip of the iceberg of issues that I learned more about during my 4 years here at City College. I felt like I'd been living in a bubble all my life. And here, I was confronted with so many different realities, ones that I had the privilege of ignoring before. But I have learned that lack of direct involvement does not absolve you of responsibility. And you have learned this too, through thought-provoking seminars, conversations with your friends, involvement in student groups like Kappa Sig, Circle K, Engineers Without Borders, any time that you fought for a cause, you were advocating for someone else. So the first commitment that I ask you to make when you leave City College is to continue to advocate for inclusion and equity. Now, I said equity and not equality. So what is the difference? Imagine person A and person B. Person A is 6 feet tall. That must be nice. Person B is 4 feet tall, and they're both trying to peer over a fence to watch a baseball game. So equality means giving person A and person B the same size box to stand on so that they are both closer to watching the baseball game. But equity means giving person B a taller box than person A so that both person A and person B end up at the same vantage point. So recognize that not everybody starts from the same place, and not everybody needs the same help. Recognize this difference and do something about it. Now, I mentioned earlier that we all come from different backgrounds, but what I think unites us is that we are all only here because of sacrifices that have been made. There is a Chinese saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. So while we should all get to planting trees, lucky for us, our trees were also planted 20 years ago. If your family moved to America and struggled to learn a new language, they were planting your tree. If they worked multiple jobs to save up to pay for your college tuition, they were planting that tree. And maybe you yourself had to take a couple semesters off to afford being a student, and that was you planting your own tree. My tree was planted by my parents and grandparents all the way from China. So what I would love for you to do is, on the count of 3, I would love for you to shout where your tree was planted. It could be another country, another part of America, or even a street right here in New York City, okay? So yell out on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Isn't it amazing that all of those different roots converged right here at City College? I stand here today not only representing myself or the class of 2019, but also humbly representing the generations of women and men who came before us, who did not have the opportunities that we have today. My mother was one such person. She struggled with 2 jobs along with night school when she was my age. My dad started waiting tables starting from when he was only 14 to help support his family. And my grandma only got to a 2nd grade education in China because at an early age, her mother decided that as a girl, her education was not as important as her brother's. And as she worked in repair shops and clothing factories, despite being in male-dominated fields, she became the best at what she did. And all throughout, she would repeat over and over the poems and idioms that she learned in 2nd grade because she so valued and wanted to retain what little education she received. Mama, Kei-hei-san. That's my grandma right there. My grandma is 93 years old, and she could still recite to you those same poems today. Thank you. When my grandma falls ill and I call her to check up on her, she always tells me to get back to studying instead of worrying about her. Because to her, the most important thing is that I received the education that she did not. And I'm so proud that I will become my family's first doctor. The granddaughter of a woman who only got to 2nd grade. So in times when you feel like you're not good enough, or smart enough, or hardworking enough, remember that you come from previous generations who were enough. The second commitment that I ask you to make is to honor the sacrifices that you and previous generations have made for us. And how lucky are we that we at CCNY, with all its great faculty and staff, have made this possible for us. So before I conclude, I need to thank a few people. Mom, thank you for being my best friend and for showing me what selflessness looks like. You are the glue that holds our family together, and you have taught me that knowledge is the one thing that nobody can take from me. Baba, my other best friend. Thank you for encouraging me to never settle for less than my very best. But no, I'm not sorry for giving away those few points. To my gogo, my older brother Kevin, thank you for always challenging me and for supporting me. To my grandma, thank you for coming to hear me speak at graduation. I'm so proud to be your granddaughter and will always treasure the stories that you have told me. So my grandma doesn't speak English, so give me 1 minute, please. Mama, 多謝你今日嚟參加我個畢業禮，同埋講啲故仔俾我聽，我唔會忘記㗎。我會勤力讀書，做一個好好嘅醫生，等你以我為榮。Thank you to my friends, both the ones who are here and also the ones watching on live stream. Thank you for being in my life and for having faith in me even when I did not. Also, shout out to my fellow admissions ambassadors, wherever you are in the crowd. All right, there's only a few, I guess. To my mentors here at City College, Dean Danny Macbeth, Dr. Holly Atkinson, Dr. Ernest Patty, Dr. Amir Solomon, I'm almost done, 1 second, Dr. Joan Dorn, Dr. Rose Calix, Dr. Nancy Soler, Miss Margaret Ambrosino, Miss Joy Richards, Mr. Guillermo Rivera, thank you for always going to bat for students like me. And most of all, thank you to the class of 2019 for giving me the honor of learning beside you. I want to leave you with one last message. So much has changed since we were freshmen in 2015. In 2015, our school mascot was Benny the Beaver. Our president was Barack Obama. And we still had so much hope for how season 8 of Game of Thrones would end. And now, in 2019, we have Rocky the Raccoon, Donald Trump, and I would need another hour to talk about how disappointed I am in Game of Thrones. But I still have so much hope for the future. Because starting today, class of 2019, it's our turn. It's such a cliche to say this, but I truly cannot wait to see what we do and how we grow. So the final commitment that I ask you to make today is to plant a tree for future generations to come. Congratulations to the class of 2019. We did it!
Thank you. And now the interim provost of the City College, Dr. Tony Liss, will present the candidates for the honorary degrees. Provost Liss.
President Boudreau, I have the honor to present the degree Doctor of Science, Honoris Causa, to Edward S. Plotkin.
And as a distinguished alumnus of CCNY, who received your BE and MCE degrees in civil engineering from CCNY and your MBA from the Cuny Baruch School of Business, you have served as a member and leader of the Civil Engineering Advisory Group of the CCNY alumni, which organizes professional forums and field trips to construction sites for current engineering students. And you have served as a past president of the Engineering School Alumni Board, and you have supported engineering scholarships at your alma mater. You taught at Manhattan College and Mercy College, and have taught environmental science to incarcerated men and women at Sing Sing and Bedford Hills Correctional Facilities in Westchester. You have used your engineering talents in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., and Massachusetts to improve the infrastructure of these states, including your 1970s design plans for the 2nd Avenue subway. And you have worked as a consultant with the ACOM team for the present 2nd Avenue subway project. You have served your community as Westchester County's Commissioner of Public Works and have consulted on constructability issues, peer review, and mediation and dispute board reviews. You have been recognized by your alma mater with the Townsend Harris Medal, which recognizes excellence in postgraduate achievement, and with the Alumni Association Service Award, and recognized by your peers with the Construction Engineer of the Year in 1986 and the Engineer of the Year Award in 1991 by the NSPE Westchester section, and with the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Society of Mining Engineers in 2010. The City College of New York acknowledges your outstanding career in engineering and your dedication to your alma mater over the years, and therefore, on behalf of the college, we confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, Honoris Causa.
Edward S. Plotkin. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, Honoris Causa. Congratulations. The lectern is yours.
Wow. My respects to President Boudreau, fellow recipient John Lewis, members of the dais, the graduating class, the great graduating class of 2019, and their guests, and to my family, my wife Frances, who's watching this right now on the internet, my sons David, Robert, his wife Lisa, and especially to my granddaughter, Emily. She's now a sophomore at Rice University. Some people can't get into CCNY. This is really an overwhelming experience. I am truly honored. But similar to many of you, I'm a first-generation American brought up in a tenement in the Bronx, the same as most of my classmates. My oldest brother, Maurice, went to Townsend Harris High School and then came here to CCNY for his degree in electrical engineering and went on to be a professor at SUNY Farmingdale. My older brother, Henry, went to the High School of Music and Art. The original building is at the corner of 135th and Convent. Then he came here at CCNY, got his degree in physics, went on to MIT to get his doctorate in physics. His career was at NASA, and he helped develop interspatial lasers, and the astronauts on Apollo 11 put his experiments on the moon. I think he scratched Allegoroo in the back of that. As I speak, I'm looking at the engineering school and see me sitting out there with the graduating class. Remember being told as a freshman, and I'm sure many of you heard this, that the classmate on the right or the left would not be graduating. I'm happy to say I sat in the right seat. Of course, then at my graduation, it was at Lewis's Stadium, which the NAC is now, and that huge parking lot. This site, if you're not familiar with it, was a convent for the Sisters of Mercy, who of course later on Mercy College was developed, and I became an adjunct to Mercy College. But this was a land for the convent. I'm positive the sisters are proud to know that their land with our college has produced huge benefits for New York, the country, and the world. My family knows that this city's education system provided the foundation for our lives' accomplishments. As the Sinatra song goes, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. It's true, and you did it. Luckily, I found my career choice quite early. And even though I was living in the Bronx, I went to Brooklyn Tech High School. There's at least 2 of them here. And then to City for my engineering degrees, and really got to learn a lot about subways, from Brooklyn Tech to the Bronx. Being an engineer was tough work, but with great satisfaction. Many commencement speeches you'll hear that if enjoying what you do, and if your career is your passion, you're really having fun and means you never really work. Wrong. Not true. You certainly work harder, but truly enjoy your achievements. It definitely is worth the extra effort. My wishes for all of the graduates today is that you enjoy your career, be proud of your accomplishments, and remember, this college, your college, CCNY, has provided you the basic tools to go forward and be successful. With my sincere appreciation for this honor, I thank you.
President Boudreau, I have the honor to present the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Honoris Causa, the Honorable John Robert Lewis.
John Robert Lewis. Congressman John Robert Lewis, you have dedicated your life to securing civil liberties, protecting human rights, and building what you call the beloved community in America. You have remained at the vanguard of progressive social movements, and as a congressman for 32 years, served on many committees, including the House Ways and Means Committee, and you are the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Oversight. Your dedication to the highest ethical standards and moral principles has won you the admiration of your colleagues on both sides of the aisle in the United States Congress, and you have been called the conscience of the U.S. Congress who commands widespread respect in the chamber. As a young student, you risked your life by leading peaceful demonstrations to advance civil liberties. You became a nationally recognized leader and one of the Big Six leaders of the civil rights movement. You were the architect of and a keynote speaker at the historic March on Washington in August 1963. You exemplified the role of activism by organizing civil rights in sit-ins and participating in freedom rides, which challenged segregation in the South. And as a founder and chairman of the Student Nonviolence Coordinating Committee, you were responsible for organizing student activism in the movement. You led over 600 peaceful, orderly protesters across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. And you were appointed by President Carter to direct more than 250,000 volunteers of ACTION, a federal volunteer agency. You have received countless honors for your civic participation, including the Lincoln Medal from the historic Ford's Theater, the Golden Plate Award from the Academy of Excellence, the Preservation Hero Award from the National Trust for Historic Preservation, the Martin Luther King Jr. Nonviolent Peace Prize. You are one of only 2 recipients of the John F. Kennedy Profile and Courage Award for Lifetime Achievement, granted by the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation. And you were granted the highest civilian honor by President Barack Obama, the Medal of Freedom. In recognition of your dedication to securing civil liberties, protecting human rights, and for your dedication to the highest ethical standards and moral principles through your civil service, all of which match CCNY's and CUNY's highest ideals, on behalf of the City College of New York, it is our very great honor to recognize you today as a great American civil rights leader and to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Honoris Causa.
Congressman John Lewis, by the powers vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, Honoris Causa. Congratulations.
Mr. President, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty and guests, excellent administrator and staff, unbelievable and proud parents, family, students, and friends, and to you, the class of 2019, congratulations! It is good to see my friend, my colleague from the Congress, the Honorable Charlie Rangel of New York. Mr. President, I must tell you and to all of the people here that I'm delighted and very pleased and honored to be here at City College of New York. I love this city. I love to come back and visit. My wife used to call the city of New York, the city is so nice, they name it twice. Now let me tell you, I'm just a poor child. A poor boy who grew up in rural Alabama, 50 miles from Montgomery. The son of a sharecropper. My father only finished the 6th grade. My mother only the 7th grade. I grew up with 6 brothers and 3 sisters, very poor. But in 1944, when I was 4 years old, and I do remember when I was 4, how many of you remember when you were 4? Oh, you don't remember? Well, in 1944, when I was 4 years old, my father had saved $300, and a man sold him 110 acres of land. We still own that land today. We raised a lot of peanuts, a lot of corn, a lot of hogs and cows and chickens. I didn't like the idea of working out in the farm, and my mother would say, boy, we got to work. We got to earn a living. And I fell in love with raising chickens. I know some of you like to eat chicken, but you don't know anything about raising chickens. I told a group last night that as a little boy, I wanted to be a minister. So we would gather all of our chickens together in the chicken yard. And my brothers and sisters and cousins were lined outside of the chicken yard, and I would start preaching to the chickens. And some of these chickens would bow their heads. Some of these chickens would shake their heads. They never quite said amen, but many of those chickens tended to listen to me much better than some of my colleagues listen to me today in the Congress. These are dangerous times. As one journalist in the American Revolution once said, these are the times that try our souls. We are flirting with disaster, and we will not prosper if we stay on this course. Our country needs you to be a headlight and not a tail light. We need each and every one of you to lead our nation to a better place. When I was growing up in rural Alabama and would see those signs that said white men, colored men, white women, colored women, white waiting, colored waiting, I would ask my mother, my father, my grandparents, and my great-grandparents, why? And they would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way. Don't get in trouble. But one day in 1955, 15 years old in the 10th grade, I heard about Rosa Parks. I heard the words of Martin Luther King Jr., and I was inspired to get in trouble, and I've been getting in good trouble ever since. I tell you as graduates, as young people, so smart and so gifted, you have a moral obligation, a mission, and a mandate to go out there and get in trouble and turn our world and our country upside down to set it right side up. Look, use education as a powerful tool, as a powerful instrument. Sometimes it seems to me like we're losing it. Sometimes I wonder, have we lost our way? Where are we going? As the leaders of the 21st century, you cannot afford to leave this campus thinking about your future alone. You must be concerned and be involved in the affairs of all humankind. Speak up. Speak out. Be bold. Be brave. And be courageous. In this crisis that we are facing in America and around the world, as Horace Mann, the great educator, once said, you should be ashamed to die before you win some victory for humanity. My philosophy is very simple. If you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have a moral obligation to say something, to do something. You cannot afford to be quiet. I know I'm asking a lot, but it's nothing I did not face in my own life, and it is nothing other New Yorkers have not done. Without their courage and their sacrifices, you and I might not be standing here today. During the early 60s, I met Rosa Parks. I met Martin Luther King Jr., and I got involved in the American Civil Rights Movement. You know from your own study and you know from history, at one period here in America, people of color in the heart of the Deep South could not register to vote. People were asked to count the number of bubbles in a bar of soap, the number of jelly beans in a jar. People were arrested, jailed, beaten, and some people were killed. 3 young men, 2 from this city, Andy Goodman and Mickey Schreiner, and James Sheenan from New York, from Mississippi rather, went out on a summer night of June 21st, 1964, to investigate the burning of an African-American church. The church was used for voter registration workshop. They were stopped by the sheriff, turned over to members of the Klan, where they were beaten, shot, murdered, and their bodies were discovered 6 weeks later, buried under a mound of dirt. These young men gave their lives. I'm not suggesting that any of you go to Mississippi or come to Georgia, or to go to my native state of Alabama and get arrested and go to jail. But just think about it. A few short years ago, blacks and white students, black lawyers and doctors, ministers, could not be seated together on a bus, on a train traveling through the South. We changed that. We changed that. I got arrested a few times. During the 60s, arrested 40 times. And since I've been in Congress, another 5 times. And I'm probably going to get arrested again. So be brave, be bold, be courageous, and go out there and get in some good trouble, necessary trouble. This is your day. Enjoy it. Take a deep breath. A world is waiting for you. To stand up, to speak up, and to speak out. I've said on many occasions, and I say it to you, we must tell ourselves, not just in America, but around the world, that we have a right to know what is in the food we eat. We have a right to know what is in the water we drink. We have a right to know what is in the air we breathe. We must save this little planet we call Earth, not just for ourselves and our children, but for generation yet unborn. It is left up to you. You must do it. So I said to you, go in peace with much love. Never hate. For as Dr. King said, hate is too heavy a burden to bear. The better way is love. The better way is peace. The better way is the philosophy of nonviolence. Thank you very much.
President Boudreau, candidates for degrees in coursework will now be presented to you by Interim Provost Tony List. Provost List.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to go off script for just a second to say you are one good-looking crowd out there. Congratulations, graduates. Are you ready to graduate? All right, let's get the show started. Candidates for the degrees and undergraduate degrees, for graduate degrees and undergraduate degrees in the Bernard and Ann Spitzer School of Architecture will be presented by Interim Dean Gordon Giebert. Candidates for graduate degrees, please rise. Candidates for undergraduate degrees, please rise.
President Boudreau, the Bernard and Ann Spitzer School of Architecture educates professionals who design and build our city. We are proud of these candidates, and we are proud they will be joining forces with hundreds of alumni to design, to shape, to build, to restore, and to create our cities. We are confident that their degrees in hand, they have the potential to change the world and to solve the problems of how we live in the world of today and of tomorrow. I trust they will make our world a better place to live. So it is with great honor that I present these candidates to you for the degree Master of Architecture, Master of Landscape Architecture, Master of Urban Planning, and for the degrees Bachelor of Architecture and Bachelor of Science in Architecture. Now, candidates, go forth and create, design, and build.
Thank you, Dean Giebert. Candidates, please be seated.
Candidates for graduate degrees and undergraduate degrees in the Grove School of Engineering will be presented by Dean Gilda Barabino. Candidates for doctoral degrees, please rise. Candidates for master's degrees, please rise. Candidates for undergraduate degrees, please rise.
President Boudreau, the engineers and the computer scientists who are produced by the Grove School of Engineering make a better future for mankind by breaking down barriers, building bridges, and reimagining the world around us. Our students are high achievers, and our faculty is world-renowned. Truly exemplifying the character of our alumni is civil engineering alumnus Edward Plotkin, who received the honorary degree from his beloved alma mater today. He has given so selflessly to the college and to the engineering profession since earning his own degree, as our graduates here today are sure to do. Graduates of today, Grove School of Engineering, you represent 100 years of excellence in engineering. Let's hear it for 100 years of excellence. Let's hear it for 100 years of excellence. Building on a century of engineering excellence at the Grove School of Engineering today, I present more than 900 engineers and computer scientists for graduation who do not look like anyone else, problem solvers who think differently, visionaries who impact society, and in the words of the Honorable John Lewis, we get into trouble. Is that right? We are troublemakers. Our graduates are the innovators who will engineer the future of tomorrow and carry the torch of the Grove School into our second century of engineering excellence. It is my distinguished honor to present the 7th cohort of doctoral students to graduate from the City College of New York in its 173-year history. And I also have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degrees Master of Engineering and Master of Science. Last but certainly not least, I present the candidates for the degrees Bachelor of Engineering and Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dean Barabino. Candidates, please be seated.
Candidates for graduate degrees and undergraduate degrees in the School of Education. Candidates in the School of Education are very loud. Candidates for degrees in the School of Education will be presented by the Dean of the School of Education, Mary Erna Driscoll. Candidates for graduate degrees, please rise. Candidates for undergraduate degrees, please rise.
President Boudreau, a high-quality education is the birthright of every child in America, regardless of where they were born. The graduates of the School of Education are prepared and committed to improving the life chances of children and youth everywhere, but especially in this great global city. Through thoughtful and innovative preparation, they have developed the knowledge, skills, and dispositions to provide rigorous and engaging learning opportunities for all children. They understand and respect linguistic and ethnic diversity, the communities they will serve as teachers and school leaders, and the role that public education must play in advancing social justice in our democratic nation. I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts and Master of Science in Education and the candidates for advanced certificates in School Building Leader, District Leader, Mathematics Education, Science Education, Spanish Education, English Education, Social Studies Education, Early Childhood Education, and Theater, as well as the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Education.
Thank you, Dean Driscoll. Last chance. Candidates, please be seated.
Colin Powell School, I think the gauntlet has been thrown. Candidates for degrees, graduate degrees, and candidates for undergraduate degrees in the Colin Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership. Will be presented by Dean Andrew Rich. Candidates for graduate degrees, please rise. Candidates for master's degrees, please rise. Candidates for undergraduate degrees, please rise.
President Boudreau, in the Colin Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership, we study and analyze the social world, how people think, behave, and interact as individuals, in organizations, and across whole societies. We study power, wealth, cognition, culture, and our connections to one another. Our candidates are poised to have a big impact on domestic and international policy, law, business, and finance, on individual and organizational psychological well-being. They have been called to be leaders in service to our city, our country, and the world, and we expect great things. It is my honor to present to you the candidates for the degrees of Masters of Arts, Masters of Public Administration, Masters of International Affairs, and Master of Science, and candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dean Rich. Candidates, please be seated.
Love you, Dean Rich. Candidates from the Division of Humanities and the Arts. Candidates from the Division of Humanities and the Arts will be presented by Dean Eric Koch. Candidates for graduate degrees, please rise. Candidates for undergraduate degrees, please rise.
President Boudreau, the Division of Humanities and the Arts represents a wide range of vital disciplines. We study and value language, literature, art, philosophy, history, and music. We create and value music, theater, poetry, narrative, film, and visual art. We build innovatively on a 2,000-year-old tradition that helps us develop an understanding of and appreciation for critical thought, human creativity, and culture. Our students are prepared to become leaders in every field of endeavor, as well as to enjoy the personal fulfillment of lifelong humanistic learning and creative activity. I have the very great honor to present 780 candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Music, Master of Professional Studies, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Music in the Division of Humanities and the Arts.
Thank you, Dean Koch. Candidates, please be seated.
Candidates from the Division of Science. Candidates from the Division of Science will be presented by Interim Dean Parameshwaran Nair. Candidates for doctoral degrees, please rise. Candidates for graduate degrees, please rise. Candidates for undergraduate degrees, please rise.
President Boudreau, the Science Division is proud to award 18 PhD degrees, 55 Master of Science degrees, and 358 Bachelor of Science degrees. Division of Science students continue to win high academic accolades. Brianna Nazir, a magna cum laude graduate of the Macaulay Honoris program and biology major at CCNY, won the prestigious Salk Award, a scholarship recognizing exceptional students who plan careers in medicine and the biological sciences. Matthew Perez Rodriguez, a biochemistry major and physics minor and member of the Honors College, has been awarded a 2019 Barry Goldwater Scholarship, America's premier award for undergraduates who major in and intend to pursue research careers in science, math, or engineering. Students in the Division of Science have delved into the molecular aspects of infectious diseases, harvesting of light for sustainable energy, learned about the dynamics of hurricanes and volcanoes, pondered the mathematics behind Escher's drawings, and worked on the physics of quantum computing. They take inspiration not only from their faculty, but also from the 10 Nobel laureates who studied science at City College before them, and from their student peers. I am honored to present all of these candidates to you.
Thank you, Dean Nair. Candidates, please be seated.
Candidates for undergraduate and graduate degrees from the Division of Interdisciplinary Studies at the Center for Worker Education. Candidates will be presented by Dean Juan Carlos Mercado. Candidates for graduate degrees, please rise. Candidates for undergraduate degrees, please rise.
President Boudreau, you know very well that the transformative power of higher education belongs not just to our youth. It is also a rich and deep experience for those who can bring the real-world experience to the enterprise. The candidates for Bachelor and Master of Arts in the Division of Interdisciplinary Studies at the Center for Work Education have returned to school as adults. Their college studies are informed by their varied life experience and a keen desire to learn. I am honored to present them to you.
Thank you, Dean Mercado. God, I hate to say this, but candidates, please sit down.
Candidates from the Sophie Davis Undergraduate Program in Biomedical Education and the Cuny School of Medicine will be presented by Dean Erica Friedman. Candidates, please rise.
As the interim dean of the Cuny School of Medicine, I have the honor to present the candidates from the Sophie Davis Biomedical Education Program. President Boudreau, there is a dire need for physicians and other healthcare professionals to take care of those who are medically underserved, and also to recruit physicians and other healthcare professionals into our profession. Our school has a 44-year history of helping to address both of these issues. I am proud to present the Sophie Davis candidates for the Bachelor of Science, who have already demonstrated their commitment to civic engagement, social justice, and community-based, patient-centered care.
Thank you, Dean Friedman. No, stand back up. You gotta wait for it. Candidates, please sit down.
Those who have worked towards their Master of Science degrees through the Sustainability in the Urban Environment program will be recognized by Professor Hillary Brown, Director of Sustainability in the Urban Environment. Candidates, please rise.
President Boudreau, we are honored and proud to commend to your attention the students in the Sustainability in the Urban Environment program who have earned their Master of Science degrees through the offerings of the Division of Science, the School of Engineering, and the School of Architecture, and the School of Civic and Global Leadership. These individuals arrived here with a passion for safeguarding the health of our planet and building a sustainable society. Already they understood that the greatest threat to our world is the belief that someone else will save it. By capitalizing on their disciplinary perspectives and skills, and by together advancing more interconnected and holistic ways of thinking, they are well poised to confront the challenges of an unstable climate and to work at reducing humanity's heavy footprint on an increasingly fragile Earth. We look to them especially with hope and offer our encouragement as they strive for better urban futures, cities more ecologically robust, economically resilient, and socially just. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Brown. Candidates, please be seated.
Those who have worked toward their degrees through the SEEK program will be recognized by Chair Sherry Rings, Director of the SEEK program. SEEK students, please rise.
President Boudreau, for more than 50 years, SEEK has supported students in their search for education, elevation, and knowledge. For our 2019 graduates, this phase of that search has been successfully completed. It is therefore with great pleasure and an even greater sense of pride that I commend to your special attention students in the SEEK program who have earned their baccalaureate degrees through all the divisions and schools of the college. Congratulations, Seekers!
Thank you, Professor Ring. Candidates, please be seated.
As representatives of their classmates will Gustavo Cepeda, Executive Vice President of the Undergraduate Student Government, Emmanuel Adupoku, Executive Vice Chair of the Graduate Student Council, Elizabeth Yim, Valedictorian, Kevin Jiang, Salutatorian, and Harris Khan, student member of the Cuny Board of Trustees, along with Jamil Stavey Ayers, Antonio Chiacha, please come forward and stand by President Boudreau. President Boudreau, all of the candidates for degrees have been presented to you. Will all candidates for doctoral, master's, advanced certificates, and baccalaureate degrees please rise? It's pretty much all of you. Yes! President Boudreau, I present to you the candidates for doctoral degrees, the candidates for master's degrees, the candidates for advanced certificates, and the candidates for baccalaureate degrees from the City College of New York. These candidates have fulfilled all the requirements for their respective degrees, and on behalf of the faculty, I recommend that they be awarded these degrees.
So you know that when I hit that gavel, you graduate. So I just got to clear one thing up before I do that. Who is your mascot?
Rocky, the raccoon.
Who's your mascot?
Rocky the raccoon.
All right, we'll deal with that later. Ladies and gentlemen, by the authority vested in me, by the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, I hereby confer your degrees upon you with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Please move your tassels to the left side of your hat. We welcome you to the company of scholars. Congratulations and our best wishes to all of you.
CCNY. CCNY!
Congratulations, graduates. Now will everyone, graduates, please stand while Martin Cohen, chairman of the 21st Century Foundation, leads you in reciting the ephebic oath. The words to the oath are on page 3 of your program.
I'd like to add my congratulations to the 2019 graduating class on behalf of the 21st Century Foundation. We are excited about the future of each and every one of you, and we are excited about our city, which you will serve. And to ensure that, the oath that you are about to take to leave your city better and more beautiful than it was when it was handed to you. This is an oath that has been taken by generations of City College students beginning in 1853. Today, we are handing you the city. So please recite this oath after me. The men and women graduating from the City College of New York do this day, after the manner of the Athenian youths of old, about to enter public life.
Do this day, after the manner of the Athenian youths of old, about to enter public life.
Take this oath of devotion to the city of New York.
Take this oath of devotion to the city of New York.
We will never bring disgrace to our city.
We will never bring disgrace to our city.
By any act of dishonesty or cowardice. Nor ever desert our suffering comrades in the ranks. We will fight for the ideals and sacred things of the city, both alone and with many. We will revere and obey the city's laws. And do our best to incite a like respect and reverence in those about us who are prone to annul them and set them at naught. We will strive unceasingly to quicken the public sense of civic duty. And thus, in all these ways, we will strive to transmit this city, and not only less, but greater, better, and more beautiful than it was transmitted to us.
And thus, in all these ways, we will strive to transmit this city, and not only not less, but greater, better, more beautiful than it was transmitted to us.
Well done. Thank you.
Now all, please rise and join in the singing of college's alma mater, Lavender, My Lavender. The words to the alma mater can be found on the back cover of the program. We ask that graduates and guests please stay in place until the platform party and faculty have left the area. Sturdy sons of City College, trusty hearts and mighty hands, rally where your streaming banner with its dauntless emblem stands. Send a cheer to heaven ringing, filled with love and fond acclaim, faith and pride in alma mater and her never dying flame. Lavender, my lavender, lavender, my lavender, on the field of life's endeavor, bound by ties that naught can sever. Hail we alma mater ever, lavender, my lavender. Daughters wise of City College, we are wise and we are strong. We will bring you pride and glory with our life's unending song. All will join us in Hail we alma mater ever. Lavender, my lavender. Congratulations to the class of 2019 of the City College of New York.